The red kidney bean is a versatile legume that a lot of people use to make soups, salads, and chilies. In Belize, however, red kidney beans are cooked only 3 ways that I know: rice and beans, stewed beans, and refried beans. Today I'm going to teach you how to make stewed beans. You're watching the Bear Pantry Show. So I have 1 pack or 1 pound of red kidney beans, and I washed it in this colander because I want to get any dirt that may have been left behind in the packaging off. I'm adding to that a small onion sliced. You could put more onion if you like. Some cilantro that I also washed because there's always dirt on that stuff. And then I use my garlic like this because I don't like peeling cloves of garlic, so it already comes minced. And you just put a little bit in there. And then we're going to start adding some water to the slow cooker or the crock pot. This is 2 cups of water so far. So I ended up putting about 14 cups of water in the crock pot, and basically you don't have to measure the water, you just want to get it as close to the top as you can so that it doesn't boil out and set the crock pot on fire, set your house on fire. And so I'm just going to basically put the lid on, turn the heat to high, and you have to know the crock pot you have because certain crock pots will take 4 hours to cook these beans and others will take 8 hours. And so you just have to know which one you have. So this one, this is new to me. It's a brand new crock pot that I just bought. The other one that I had took 4 hours to cook the beans. And so I'll see you in about 4 to 8 hours. Don't add any salt or pepper or any kind of salt meat to the beans right now, okay? See you in about 8 hours. So while we're waiting for the beans to cook in the crock pot for the next 8 hours, I think I'll give you a little tour and show you what I keep in my pantry on a regular basis. So I think it's only fair that if I call the show the Bear Pantry Show, that I show you what I keep in my pantry on a regular basis. Of course, sometimes it's more stock than this, but we're always operating on less than more because, well, for one, I like things in order, and if it's too packed, I can't really get in there. So we've got some of that blackening or browning that we use to make the black fruit cake, some nuts, some vitamins, hot pepper sauce, oatmeal, distilled white vinegar, some homemade guava jelly that my dad made, some salt. And then let's get down to the second shelf. So on the second shelf we have some minute rice. That's for when we come home in a rush. Some distilled white vinegar, again I buy the big jug from Costco. And basically those food canned goods. Fiber, my whey protein, sweetened condensed milk. We've got evaporated milk behind that, a couple cans of Spam for hard times, some golden corn, and what we're going to make with that soon is dukunus, peas and carrots, tuna, some pineapple, and if I can get Jory to get in the right hand corner over there, you can see my trusted cans of tomato sauce. We have some pasta. We're not big on pasta in here, so we're going to move down to the third shelf. And on our third shelf we have a big old gallon of canola oil, and in that bucket that's where I store my white flour. All-purpose white flour is all we use in here. And then if I can move down to the fourth shelf, I have a plastic bin that I put crackers and stuff in because we have trouble with ants, and in that little popcorn bin there I keep long grain white rice because I don't just use minute rice. Here's the top shelf of my other small pantry. I've got some vanilla extract, some Belizean custard, raisins, some parsley back there. I don't hardly ever use that, so I put it way on the tip top. And some confectioner's sugar. The second shelf I have my baking powder, my Crisco. In that silver pan I have brown sugar. Everything I reuse pans because I have trouble with ants. And this black pepper right here, I bought this but by mistake it's the coarse one, so I only use that when I run out of my fine ground black pepper. On my last shelf you can see the spices that I use. I have the powdered ricotta. That grilled thyme is for Jada. She likes to put that on her meat. I don't. Ginger, cinnamon, all my extracts for my cake, my little salt and pepper shaker, some honey. And I do keep my sugar, my bin of sugar in here. I just kind of moved it out of the way just now. So I put the sugar and the salt and the pepper back in place. In that little cookie thing I keep black pepper too because it's easy to measure with a teaspoon and to go inside the bin. And again, to keep everything away from ants. So I don't have too much. I have one more pantry that Joe keeps his coffee and his creamer and stuff like that, but I don't really go in that because I don't drink coffee either. And the reason that I don't do a lot of spices is because a lot of the spices are mixed with MSG, and I have a horrible reaction to MSG every time I get it in my food. So for that reason, I cook a lot of my foods at home. I don't eat a lot of other people's food. And if you notice, I don't have nutmeg either because I am terribly allergic to nutmeg. So this is basically what I keep in my pantry. So it's been 8 hours later. Look at our beans cooking in the crock pot. This crock pot is really a slower one because, like I said, the other one cooked this in like 4 hours. See? The beans are soft, but it still has too much water in the pot. So this is not finished for stewed beans. Now this would be perfect for rice and beans if you want to take out some of the water and do rice and beans, but it's not good for stewed beans. So we want to transfer it to another pot, which we're going to put on the stove. And this little pot spoon that I have is perfect to just transfer. So we're going to transfer this to this pot. So see, we used 1 pound of red kidney beans. If you're a smaller family or you're by yourself or only a couple, you could use half of that to do the beans and put up the rest, okay? And so we have the beans on the stove, and this is like a 6-quart pot. And I'm putting some chunks of ham in there at this point. I didn't put it when it was in the crock pot because I didn't want the ham to just disappear and cook away, because this ham is already cooked. If you have pigtails, what you would do is boil the pigtails separately in a different pot and throw off the water as many times as you need to get off as much salt as you would want off the pigtail, because if you put the pigtail straight into this beans is going to be really, really salty. And you always want to put whatever salt meat you're going to put in this beans, you want to put it before you add salt to it, because you want to taste it and not over salt the beans. So see, this is a lot of water in here. We're going to check back on this in about 20 minutes to see how it's doing. Okay, I want to show you the perfect consistency that this beans is going to have to come down to make it some wonderful stewed beans. Be back in a few minutes. Okay, look at the stewed beans. I turned the fire down a little bit. It's been about 20 minutes, and it's perfect consistency for Belizean stewed beans. I don't want it too thin, I don't want it too thick. And we want to add a little bit of salt in there. You can add more salt to your taste. A little bit of black pepper, and you can add more. You want to add a little bit at a time and then taste it, because you don't want to over salt or over pepper the beans. And then when you want to taste the beans, my thing that I do is I pick up a little bit of that water, I cool it down, I put it in my hand, and then I taste it, because I can't stand when I see people cooking and they'll put the pot spoon in, taste whatever they're making, and put that same pot spoon back in. To me, they're transmitting every germ and bacteria from their mouth into the pot that they're going to serve to other people. And even if you're single, you want to follow these clean type methods, because you never know who might show up at your door and you want to serve some of the food to them. So you want to taste this. You can serve this with white rice and stewed chicken. You can serve this in a bowl by itself because it has meat in there already. And you can also, I wouldn't turn this into rice and beans, because this beans is too soft. You want the beans a little bit harder to do the rice and beans, but there's just a lot of, you can make refried beans from this too. So, but anyways, this is one menu. This is Belizean stewed beans, and I hope you've enjoyed. I'll try to get some in a plate or a bowl so you can see it a little bit better than inside this pot. So this is one variation of how you could serve the stewed beans. This is some stewed chicken that I made, some white rice. Here's our lovely stewed beans that we could put right there on the side. Some people like to put it all over the rice. It just depends on how the guest wants to be served. And you can eat this stewed beans with flour tortilla. You could eat it by itself because it has the meat in there already. But this is the main way that Belizean people eat this. Finally, we're at the end of a long one. If you wanted the beans to be cooked more quickly than in the crock pot, you would put it on top of the stove, put a lot of water, watch it so that it doesn't boil out and burn, and it would take maybe 3.5 to 4 hours. One rule of thumb with picking red kidney beans from the store: if you pick up a package of the beans and it looks really dark red, leave that alone, because it's old and tired and it's not gonna come out as good as that came out, like with the gel to it. You want to get one that look a little bit lighter red. I don't want to say pink because it's not really pink, but a lighter red color to the red kidney beans. I hope you enjoy it. The next time I'm going to show you how to refry that beans, and until I see you again, take care.